So today, welcome to my channel again, Pencils and the Girl. Sorry if I haven't been posting for a long time. I am a very horrible YouTuber. I am not consistent, but I am trying. And so, welcome to another tutorial where I will show you some cool options in AUTODESK that will help you. So, yeah, we can get started. First one I'd like to show you, which is one of my favorite, is the Predictive Stroke. As you can see, I am pointing right above there. If only I could circle it, but I cannot. I'm just going to point at it like that. Predictive Stroke in AUTODESK. As you can see these levels in here. So there's level 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. But yeah, you can do it. So, go into a new layer. Predictive stroke, because without predictive stroke, if we're trying to draw a face, let's say a cheek, as you can see, our lines are very squiggly, you know, that's bad stuff. Very bad stuff. Let me just read that for some reason. But with predictive stroke, it kind of predicts on what you're trying to draw and making it a bit nicer. So I'll just switch back to black, and I'll just try drawing, I don't know, a cheek. I'm just gonna draw a face of mine. I don't know. So, as you can see, the lines are very much more neater. Especially like anime hair. It's better if you turn this on so that you can keep the lines fairly straight, you know. And so, the more you increase the level in this predictive stroke, the more it will try to be perfect. So, putting it to number 5 sometimes is not the best thing, because example, you want to make a curve sometimes, but sometimes it can turn into a straight line at some occasions, but like that. It turns into a straight line sometimes. If you want to make just a little curve, it turns into too straight. So usually I like putting it at 2 for facial measures, and I usually put it at 3 to 4 when I make maybe buildings or backgrounds or whatsoever. But 2 is usually my favorite level for drawing faces and those kinds of stuff, you know, just to... Basta! Yes, that's all you have to know about that. I'll just take away that because you don't need that face without the eyes or mouth anyway. So, now that you've learned the predictive stroke, very helpful, let's move on to Radial Symmetry. Radial Symmetry is also one of my favorites. It's also used for making stuff. Let's say Radial Symmetry also, I'm going to put this back to its full screen. It's pointing right there to that guy that dude over there. So in Radial Symmetry, it's usually for making, you know, stuff like wheels or starfish. So you don't have to, example, you're making a star and you want it to just have all the sides perfect, because it's just so hard to make a star for me. So, oops. And so, turn that on, and I'll just turn on the predictive stroke so, you know, I can also make it better. If you start from the middle for making a star, as you can see, the lines are very neat, and it's mirroring what I'm drawing on the other side of my, you know, board. And now if you turn it off, now we can see it's a pretty nice star. Now, there's also some more features on this. Let me turn that off and take away the star. So, also, let's turn this on again. And as you can see, there are also sections. Those sections. Wait, those are usually for when you want to make lots of where you want it to repeat. So I'll just start on the side here, and you can see it's making this kind of ASMR drawing thing here. It's weird, but also cool at the same time. So as you can see, we have a very cool pattern in here, and it only took us about 5 seconds to make this, just with this tool, and you can do. So yeah, you can just make as much sections as you want, and it's very helpful when creating something. But I don't know what specifically you want to create, but yeah, that's probably a good explanation enough. Moving on to the next one. I'll turn it off. The Lasso Tool. This is probably also my most favorite tool because I don't think I'll be able to survive without it. So to just show an example, yeah, if you're drawing a drawing, let me just wait. For drawing a drawing, let's say let's say you've drawn a pose. I'll just draw a quick sketch of someone on the table. Like, someone puts his arm on his face. Probably he's looking at something. I don't know what he's looking at, but here's the table. Maybe he's looking at a piece of money to steal. But then something looks wrong on your drawing and you want it to... but you want to move something in the position of the drawing. I don't know if I'm doing this correctly, but Lasso has a lot of features. Oh, just wait. So now we can go to the Lasso tool. Right above here, Lasso tool is one of the most fundamental, pioneer tools in AUTODESK because it's really useful. So I'll just draw an example. So I'll just quickly draw a body. So I'm just going to turn this on. I'll just draw a quick... what's wrong? I'm sorry. I am really nervous. Maybe that's why nothing wants to work. I don't know what's actually going on. Come on, work. Okay, just wait, guys. I'm sorry, guys. My tablet hangs, and I hate it when that happens. Anyway, moving back. Lasso tool is very useful. I'll quickly sketch a person. Let me just pause. So right here, I made a very ugly sketch of whatever I made in here. And with the Lasso tool, you can completely change that. So with the Lasso tool, we can adjust stuff in here. So if you can see, we have this lasso, this rectangle, and the magic wand. What I like using most is the lasso. The lasso is used for kind of like grabbing stuff. So let's say, as you can see here, let me just turn this red. This body part here is not correct, if you can know that. So with the lasso, I will just roughly draw or circle around this thing. Then after that, here is another tool. We were supposed to go into that later, but maybe I should also do this super cool motion button. Well, you can move stuff with it, but there are also some more important features with it later. But anyway, moving into the lasso, after we have roped the whole bottom body part down there, if we can tap this super cool motion button, we can basically resize it. And for some reason it's not working. Oh darn, I was in the wrong layer. I'm so sorry, I'm stupid. Okay, circling the screen again and tapping the motion button. As you can see, we can resize it to become a better fit for the person. Also with this lasso, we can move the joints to make them look like they're posing. So let's just move this here to look like she's holding her thing. And I'm going to move her top thing. It's almost like you've rigged the body, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like a doll. Yes, kind of like a doll. So now you can do anything that you want with their body. So it's very helpful for posing stuff and whatever. And after that, you can just adjust the stuff later. So it's very good for doing those kinds of stuff. Of course, this is just a rough sketch. After that, I'll draw over this later, maybe in the ending. But, let's just get to the point. Lasso is a very important tool for moving stuff. But Lasso also has some better important tools. Lasso can also be used for coloring in specific parts. So let's say example, I'm gonna just draw down an example. So okay, is this recording? Oh, sorry. So as you can see, I made this weird anime girl. Look at her, she's so ugly. I am horrible at anime, but anyway, back to the point. The Lasso tool has also some cool kinds of features. So I created a new layer and now I want to color in it, you know what I mean? But I want to color specifically where I want to. Let's add a hairpin on her so that I can depict this even more to you. My pen thing is so thick. So here I just add a random clip. And then I want to color it specifically without having to color the whole thing. Or, wait, I have a better explanation for it. Let's say you want to color all the hair and without any without any, sort of having a hard time to color the hair specifically. Because let's say you do the biggest one you can, and you wish you could just color it all quickly without breaking the barriers to the other parts of the body. Using the lasso tool is also very helpful, because in here you can, let's say I'm just going to circle the part that I want to color, which is the hair. So just gonna be careful, and I'll just be steady, picking out all the parts where the hair. Yes, I keep saying the exact same stuff. But now I've circled all the hair, and now I'm just gonna go to one of my favorite coloring tools down here in the bottom, Pencil 4. It's nice for coloring large stuff. So now, as you can see, it's a whole big pen there, and I can just color in it without damaging any of the other stuff in there. It's almost like the fill tool, but the fill tool will be showcased later. And now I have colored the hair cleanly without damaging the skin or the clip. Wait, the clip is not colored. Let me color the clip later. But anyway, I'll just quickly color the skin with the button, with the thing. And now I can just I'll just lasso the little clip for some random reason. And, I'll just color it in. And now I've just shown you an example on how that can work. Let me just color the eyes in, also using the lasso tool for the sake of example, lol. So you can also circle 2 stuff at a time. So let's say you want to color 2 stuff at a time without having to circle this one first, and then you can circle the other. So if you color the 2 stuff, you can color 2 stuff at the same time. As you see, I've drawn white over the eyes, and now, as you can see, both her eyes are white. And now for the sparkles in her eye, let's both circle them, and I will just draw yellow in them. And so the lasso tool is very, very helpful. Also, there's an invert option in the lasso tool. Let me just circle the face. So let's say I want all the other background to be colored except her. So let's get that lasso tool there. And as you can see, I'm floating my pen above this square button right here. I hope you can see it glowing. I'm just going to make it blank so you can see it. And now if I tap it, selection inverted. You see that thing? Selection inverted. And now, once it's done, I can color everything I want except, I can color everything I want except the girl. What-a-n! Magic, right? My tablet is super hangy. But that's some of the very extraordinary features of the lasso. Let's get full screen. And I'll just pause and erase everything I don't need in here. So now that you've learned about the lasso, we can finally go into the fill button right there. The fill button, you might have known this thing, but mostly some other people don't. When I was small and new to Autodesk Sketchbook, I always had to color in the parts I wanted to color in. Usually fill is for lazy people who don't, for stuff that don't need detail, like buildings. You color for them because, people, you need to shade their hair or stuff like that. But when you want to do something quick, just make a quick thing. Like, I'm just going to make a 3D building here. So yeah, right now, as you can see, I made a very lazy 3D building. An example, I'm too lazy to color all of that. Of course, you can use the lasso tool also. But if you just want to do it quick without having to circle the whole thing, you can just use this fill tool. And let's say I want to color it with just a plain black, and just tap, tap, tap. You see, done. It's all done. You filled the building. But as you can see, there's those very little white lines there. Why is that? So there's also this thing called tolerance. Tolerance is usually how much you want it to fill. Well, sometimes if the lines, let's say, if the lines of your art are too thin, sometimes the tolerance, sometimes the fill can seep through. Let me just put this to full thing. Hopefully it works, and I fill that in. And as you can see, it seeped into the whole frame, is that what you should call, because this line is too thin to hold in all of the paint, if you know what I mean. Lower the tolerance, and as you've seen, it's still stuck inside that square over there. So as you can see, yes, and there are no more lines this time because I've just put enough tolerance, or let's say aka paint, to fill in those little white lines in there, and for that little line there. So fill is also important. There are also these gradients in here where you can make gradients, which is like where you can make very smooth connections of color. So let's say I want to make this from blue to yellow. So I'll just get a smooth, I can get smooth coloring in here, like just like this. If you can see my point. But yeah, the feature is kind of cool for making, like, if you want those kind of anime hair that, those anime hair turn brown to pink or pink to yellow, whatever. These are just important, cool gradients. They're also good for making skin tone gradients, hair gradients, examples, whatever. I'm just going to quickly make a dark brown piece of hair in here, I guess, from dark to light. As you can see, it has its kinda gradient. But as you can, oops, sorry, I picked the wrong one. But as you can see, it can make very smooth transitions from whatever color you like. And tap that again, and fill the building with a very smooth brown to light brown color. And so I guess that's all you need to know about the fill. There's also this option, Radial Fill. It's basically a circle, if you know what I mean. Light to dark. Let's say it's gonna make a sun. I'm like, the sun shines from the middle, you know what I mean? And so just turn this lighter, and then that's the light in the middle. I know that's a very lazy one, a lazy example, but you know, you get my point. Fill is very useful, and I'll pause this video and let's go to the next option. Time lapse, a very obvious option you can have in this Autodesk app. I use time lapse in almost all of the time lapses I use. No, I use it in all the time lapses I use. Maybe some of you know this, maybe some of you don't. But you can use time lapse to time lapse yourself whenever you're drawing. So if you tap this, you can see the word time lapse is starting, and you can I'll just draw a heart like this. It's an angry eyes, you know, from Undertale. I actually don't know. I haven't played the game Undertale, but you know, whatever. And if you pause it, you can just see the playback time, and you can just press save to device. And then it'll show your storage in here, and then you just name it. I'll just name it heart save. You might have seen the memes I've saved in my storage. Yes, I like memes a lot. And now you have your time lapse in your storage. And now for last and not least, this button, you've seen it before, and it's a super cool motion button. I don't know what to call it specifically, but yeah. Oh, it's called transform button. So, okay, let's just write transform over them. Transform. Bah. And so now that we have this button, let me show the example to you. As you've seen before, this button can be used to move stuff, but besides that too, I'll just show you something. I'll just write a piece of text here. By the way, if you didn't know the text addition option here, let me just show you that we have text in here. I'll just write text, just basta. And in here I can color it anything I want, and then here are just some of the few fonts I have in here. I don't have the Autodesk Sketchbook Pro because I don't know how to get it. But anyway, since we have typed that here, now with the motion button, we can move it, but besides that, we can also fiddle with how it looks like. As you can see, this distort button, one of the coolest ones here, you can distort it almost like it's a 3D-ish object. as you can see here, we're moving with, like, this is useful if, for example, you're making signs in like a 2D perspective and you need the side of a building, like this says text, and let's just add it with the McDonald's sign over there. But that's a very cool option, don't you think? And then this thing in the middle is also for moving the whole thing, which is also kind of cool. Like, it's squished inside this little text, squeeze it in the side there, squeeze it there, make it bottom. And you have a kind of cool edit there. It actually doesn't look cool, but you know. This thing can also be used for flipping. Okay, again, I'll just draw a smiley face with a tongue. This can be used for flipping upside down and rotating. And if you want to nudge it, for example, you have this, maybe you have a building, a sign that you need to stick to a wall very carefully. I'll just use this lasso tool, because if you use move, it'll move the whole thing. So I'll use the lasso tool, circle the smile specifically, use that, and I can nudge it. But example, if you want to just keep it exactly there, you can use that nudge button to just move it, and we've got it touching. Ta-da! But that's a very lazy example. There are much more important uses of this button. But anyway, we have already explored all the cool options in here. There are more options, like this thing, and this thing, and this thing, and this thing. But I don't think you need that. I don't need to explain that much. So, thank you for coming to this video. Thank you that you watched it. Thank you so much. I don't know why I'm saying so many thank yous, but I hope you learned in this video. Why don't you go click the like button down below. Give me some more views and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you next time.